Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome, everyone. A lot of people have been asking recently for some sort of tour of my office, and so yeah, thought I'd do sort of a mini tour, at least a partial tour of my setup, and yeah, just I don't know, give a sense for what the life of a dealer's basement looks like. But yeah, this stack here is sort of my most recent to be sorted stuff. This is the stuff I've got it in recently, and this really needs to be sorted, so it goes into my that pile there. And this table is where I do all my sorting. I've probably seen it in some of my videos. It's often full of stack of cards. In this case, it happens to be empty, but there's my computer setup where I record my videos, and the printer where I print out shipping labels for eBay sales and things like that. Next to me on this side is just a supply closet, mainly just for shipping. You can see, bubble mailers and tape and all that. And then there's some additional cards, but there's a second room, or I have sort of two rooms. This room is more of a supplies room. It looks like a lot, but those are all empty boxes, which I use a lot for shipping. Not all empty boxes, mostly empty boxes. And sometimes I get a collection in, and it's really bulky, so I put it on the floor. That's what these binders are. These binders are actually a set run from 1981 to present, Topps baseball. So yeah, just keeping it here for now as I don't have room in the other room for it. Another couple supply shelves with sleeves and top loaders, and that pile of cards there are all base commons. Those I generally end up donating, or sometimes I have somebody come by and buy them all in one shot for a couple $100 or whatever, depending on the type, how many there are. Now I'm going to be starting on eBay Live fairly soon. I'm very excited about it, and this whole area here is going to be set up for that. Got a couple of chairs. I might end up hiring somebody to help me with it. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that this room is basically half a storage room and half a future eBay Live selling room. So yeah, that's what that room is. Back into the main room, which is where I spend most of my time. Again, there's that piles of cards, the most recent stuff that I need to go through. And most of the shelving in this room is for cards that are to be made into eBay lots eventually, and they're sorted that way. And I sell a lot of eBay, also lots to be sold in auction houses, but I sell a lot on eBay. I use a lot of different auction houses for a lot of different things, and that's mostly what these boxes. That's mostly how I sort in this room. Like for example, these two boxes are 50s and 60s baseball commons, and they're getting pretty full as you can see. But yeah, the 62 Topps common. Here's a 55 Bowman common. And if they're not in one of these team bags, that means they're not sorted and they still need to be sorted. And when this box kind of gets filled up, then I start making lots for eBay. And a lot might be 500 1960s baseball, mid-grade or whatever. There's a 55 Topps. Anything in a team bag means they're all in the same set and year. Like those are all 1966 Topps baseball. And generally they're all mid-grade. If they're lower grade, I put them into the one row on the far right. This box, same thing except football, 50s and 60s football. Again, if it's all in a team bag, those are all the same year and brand. I think that's 64 Philadelphia. And yeah, that's just the way I sort it. And when this box gets full again, then I take the time to make some lots for eBay. Yeah, as I see fit, depending on what's in there. And the row on the right is low grade. So everything in the right thing here, these are all low grade 68 Topps, low grade football vintage commons. And yeah, if I make a lot, that'll be a low grade lot. Same here. These are all low grade baseball vintage commons from the 50s and 60s. So those are separated that way. This box is all 70 to 75. You can see the left row is all baseball. The right row is all football. And when like a row becomes full, I basically transfer it to another area, which I'll show in a bit, and that all gets ultimately made into lots for eBay. This box is late 70s baseball and football. I just recently went through that one, so there's not much there at the moment. And then low grade early 70s basketball, baseball, and football. And same thing when a row becomes full, I transfer it to another area, which yeah, I'll show in just a sec. Vintage box for basketball and hockey. And I consider 80s basketball to be vintage, but yeah, there's basically a row for basketball and a row for hockey. And same thing, when a row becomes full, it gets transferred somewhere else to be made into large lots. I have the 60s and 70s oddball cards. I actually usually just take this whole box and send it to Huggins and Scott for like one large lot at the end. But sometimes I'll sort of resort it. When the box gets full, again, I go through it and kind of decide what to do with it then. And then a vintage non-sports. Not a big non-sports dealer, but yeah, I get some stuff in here and there. And so I put it all in this one box. And then when it gets full, I sort it and often just send it all in auction to one lot. There's also the shelf of like random stuff. I'm not going to go through it because this is kind of like stuff I I kind of got too lazy to sort in the moment. But some modern stuff. This is a jerseys and autos box. These are all commons. This row is all common jerseys. The middle row is all common autographs. And yeah, and same thing when like a row gets full, it gets transferred somewhere else. And this row is all common jersey and autos. Every single one of these cards is a jersey and an auto. And again, these are all commons. The stars get sent to often to COMC or sent to other places. But yeah, every card in this thing is a jersey and an auto, and this will ultimately get made into a large lot, probably for eBay, but possibly for another auction house, depending on how things are going at the moment. This box is all refractors and prism parallels. The left is all baseball refractors from various years, mostly Topps Chrome, but some other brands as well. And usually what I do here is accumulate enough to make just, again, a large lot for either eBay or an auction house. Common refractors aren't worth selling one at a time. Prism parallels, same thing. These are all, I think they're all football and basketball, as I try to keep them to licensed products. So yeah, these are all prism parallels, basketball and football, and these are all 90s refractors, which are a little better. These I could sell one at a time on maybe COMC or in other ways, or make a lot, depending on how often how many I end up getting and in what sports. So next category here is player lots. I only pull about 8. I think there's 8 baseball players that I set aside to ultimately make player lots for eBay, and I put them in. Use the team bags again. So every card in this team bag is a Ken Griffey Jr. card. It's probably about 50 in a team bag. And when I get to about 500, I make a lot for eBay. There's Bo Jackson. He's one of the ones I pull. Mickey Mantle is one of the ones I pull. Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan. Frank Thomas, there's another Frank Thomas, another Frank Thomas. So when it gets to be, about 500 cards from one player, then I make a player lot for eBay. There's Barry Bonds. There's another Barry Bonds. 3 Barry, there's a bunch of Barry Bonds, but these are players I know will sell in player lots. I used to make a lot more player lots, but I sort of just don't have the time to make player lots. So I only kind of put aside the ones that I know will sell and sell pretty well. Here in football, same thing, player lots. There's a Peyton Manning. There's a Dan Marino. I have I want to say about 8 names. Barry Sanders that I set aside in football. In basketball, it's only a couple names. I think it's 4. Kobe Bryant is one, obviously. Michael Jordan is one. LeBron James is one, and Shaquille O'Neal. Those are basically the only 4 I pull for basketball player lots at the moment. And in hockey, just one. It's Wayne Gretzky. Pull Wayne Gretzky cards to eventually make a player lot when it gets to around 500 or so. This is a category I set aside. This is kind of stuff that I really like. 80s major stars. Like these are all early 80s, mid 80s Ryan Sandbergs. There's a lot of different things I can do with these. They work really well. In a lot of different ways. I probably can't get into it here. But anytime I have a major star from the early 80s, really the early 80s, those are all George Brett. Those are all Ricky Henderson. Again, early 80s, early to mid 80s. I kind of stop around 85 or 86. There's Ripken and mainly baseball, but I also do football and basketball as well. A lot of things I can do with these, which again I can't really get into here as it's not that long a video. And then these are all active stars, and really just the key names, maybe about 15 names total. Bryce Harper in baseball, Mookie Betts. These are all again lotted up by player. Juan Soto, and these are Aaron Judge. For active stars, you don't need as many. Like for Barry Bonds, I kind of need about 500. There's Patrick Mahomes in football. Kind of need about 500 to make a lot for eBay where it's worth it for me. But with active players, you don't need as many because they sell higher. Steph Curry, more Steph Curry, Luka Doncic in basketball. So the key names I sort of set aside. The key, not like young prospecty guys, but the key established stars. Lamar Jackson. These guys sell well in player lots, and I usually try to get to around 200. There's Josh Allen in football, for example. I try to get to around 200 for most of these names before I make a player lot for eBay. And I'm saying 500 and 200. That's just like rough numbers. It depends on the player, of course. Like Michael Jordan, you don't need as many cards to make a player lot, or Shohei Ohtani, for example. But this box is all rookies, mainly junk wax era Hall of Fame rookies. There's Griffey and Biggio and Derek Jeter. Basketball, football, Terrell Davis, John Smoltz, and these I do various different things with. Again, if they're in a team bag, it's all the same player. Those are all 1998 Randy Moss rookies. And lots of, these are all Emmitt Smith rookies from 1990. A lot of different things I do with these. Sometimes if there's just enough of one player, I just make a lot for eBay. Other times I sort of use them to boost other lots. Like, hey, this is all Hall of Fame. You know, there's a bunch of Hall of Famers, including some rookies, things like that. A little unsorted modern box, which is this is like something I'll do down the road when yeah, just didn't have time for it today. I get a lot of packs in. I don't, you know, when I buy collections, often there'll just be a few packs thrown into the side, unopened packs. I just sort of throw them all into this one section, and at some point we'll either make a lot for eBay, or more likely I'll just bring it to a local card show and take sorry, local card store and take whatever they'll give me for it. Actually, I'm considering saving these for eBay Live because somebody told me that unopened product like this sells really well in live selling on eBay Live. Not breaking it. I don't plan on breaking any of this, but like selling it as an unopened product on eBay Live. So yeah, may keep some of that. And you saw some wax boxes there too. Also stuff that I just get in collections. I don't open wax, so I sort of stockpile them until I end up doing something with it. This section here is all baseball Hall of Famers. These are all really cheap cards, but they're all Hall of Famers. I mean, every card in here is a Hall of Famer. George Brett, Andre Dawson, and there's something like 15,000 of them. I'll probably make one large lot to sell in a Huggins and Scott listing. Here are, so when I said earlier about the 70s, these all get transferred here when the boxes get full, and all these boxes are 1970s, early, I think mainly early 70s baseball sorted by year and condition. And then when they get 6 of those in, I make these sort of lots for eBay. 3,000, 71 to 75 Topps Baseball VG. Plus is just one example. I have a ton of them up on eBay now. But there's an example of 6 of these boxes get put into a large flat rate box, and I sell about 3,000 at a time. Same thing, but there's football and basketball and hockey, which comes in a lot slower than baseball. Baseball, the majority of 70s stuff I get in is baseball. These are all things that have been, you know, the rows got full and have been transferred here. So like this entire box is all common autos, and again, these will all ultimately get made into a large lot, probably sorted by sport at some point. But yeah, these are all common autographs. Yeah, which, you know, just accumulating until I have enough to make some large lots again, either for eBay or for some large auction house listing. There's actually a bunch of jerseys. I should probably go through the jerseys. I got 6 full boxes of jerseys, plus a couple more down there. So yeah, probably need to jump on that. These boxes are cards I sell at shows. They're all $1, $2, or $5 boxes. They're all modern. The $5 boxes I put in top loaders, and there's like a Garrett Cole rookie and you know, Vince Carter rookie. These are all, you know, $5. Yeah, I set up at shows, and these are all $5. And I discount these heavily if there's an Ohtani scratch off. I discount these heavily if people you know, buy in bulk. The $2 ones I put in card sleeves. So all the $2 are in penny sleeves, and all the $5 are in top loaders, and all the $1 are loose. So that's the easiest way for me to remember them. I don't have to price every single card. I just do it that way. But yeah, this is a $2 box that'll go out at my my card shows. And at card shows, I generally sell this sort of stuff the most, as it's yeah, that's what I found sort of the most efficient. These are categories that will ultimately be made into large lots. Here's 2000s inserts. Every card here is an insert or a parallel, no base cards. And here's 1990s inserts. Every card is an insert or a parallel. This is all basketball. This will make a nice basketball lot at some point, which should sell well. 90s inserts are, of course, very popular. Here's all football Hall of Famers and all basketball Hall of Famers. Those boxes are not very full because I just made large lots for them recently. The same sort of principle. But most of the cards I've shown here are sort of cheaper cards. I mean, they're not commons, but they're, you know, for the most part, under a dollar. Some as high as maybe a few dollars. But most of my higher dollar stuff I don't keep here. I sell via the vaults: Fanatics Vault, PSA Vault, and COMC. I'm calling COMC a vault because it essentially acts as a vault. And I've just found that to be an extremely efficient way and safe way for me personally to sell my higher dollar stuff. So most of the higher dollar stuff is not stored here. The one exception is stuff that I sell on eBay. I do sell some higher dollar stuff on eBay. Mostly I used eBay for large lots, like I've already discussed, but there's some higher end singles on there as well. And this is my eBay corner. Everything here is a lot that is currently listed on eBay. Most of the, like you can see, most of them are lots, but there's some singles as well. And yeah, this is yeah, my listed on eBay corner of my my office. So, but that's it for now. Just a quick tour of my office, and I sort of sped through a lot of it, so not really sure if not sure if people enjoyed this or not, but hopefully you did. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and of course, eat your vegetables. And as always, see you again next time. Thanks, everyone.